is going to last. I'm going to not speak for very long. My name is Kirsty Stephen, and I'm an Assistive Technology and Additional Support Needs teacher here at Call Scotland. Delighted to be joined this afternoon by Bob Sagoo from Pretorian Technologies. It's so lovely to have you with us, Bob.
No, it's a pleasure to be here, Kirsty. Thank you.
So today's session, folks, it is being recorded, and the recording link will follow today's webinar by email for those that are not able to join us live. I would ask throughout today's presentation, please, if you keep your mics muted, and if you don't wish to be in the recording, then I would ask that you pop your camera off now. If you do wish to have live captions displayed throughout the webinar, please go into your language and speech settings and turn them on. You'll also be able to view closed captions on the YouTube recording. Webinar is going to run for about 20 minutes or until I cut Bob off. And then there will be an opportunity for you to ask questions. So if you do have any questions for Bob when he's presenting, please pop them into the chat. We'll keep an eye on it, and then we'll facilitate those at the end. So I'll pass over now to Bob. Thanks, Bob.
No worries. Thank you, Kirsten. And I'm hoping you can see me all, the image quite clearly. I'm sort of full screen on my screen. It's just a tiny little window, as it were, but I'm hoping you can see me all full screen. That's great. No, it's awesome to be here. I will try and run to time, but I probably won't. But there you go. I would say first and foremost, in the chats, please, any remedies you've got that will help Kirsten out with her rapidly disappearing voice, I'm sure she'll appreciate. So please populate the chat with any sort of remedies or, you know, old wives' tales or whatever you think of, which will help her with her sore throat. I think she'll appreciate that. Right, this is a PowerPoint-free session, so no PowerPoint, nothing at all. We're just going to dive straight in, and as you can see I've got a number of different solutions laid out, and yeah, so what we're going to look at is just some fun activities you can do using certain aspects of assistive technology. So we're going to look at toy and appliance control. We're going to look at gaming and also sort of computer access. So try and cover all these elements as quickly as possible in the 20 minutes we have together. And any questions you've got, you know, please feel free to fire them over to me either in the chat or at the end of the session. So firstly, if I talk about toy control, I've got a number of different solutions here. I'll just move my die out of the way. Slytherin, I'm, you know, if any of the Harry Potter sort of followers had their huge Slytherin sort of fan. Okay, right. So with regards to toy control, we've got a number of different solutions, a number of different activities you can utilize. So I've got here a battery-powered bubble machine. I am known for my bubble machine, so I make no apologies for that whatsoever. But what I've done with this is very simply this is a battery-powered bubble machine that I got off Amazon for about £6, and really nice, very simple. The reservoir is built into the back. The battery compartment is here, and just a battery interrupter with a 3.5mm jack socket at the end. And all I need to do is, in this case, I'm plugging it into a switch interface, which is this product here, which is called Control. And what that enables me to do is link up a wireless switch, in this case a red smoothie switch, and hopefully it's not powered off, and I can access the bubble machine wirelessly, and it's about a range of about 20 meters, or I'd say 10 meters comfortably, as it were. But this does work through, to some degree, works through sort of walls or ceilings in particular, because it utilizes a Simply Works. It's part of our Simply Works range of wireless assistive technology. But yeah, a really simple solution using Control with a battery powered you know, toy or appliance, and away you go. It's really simple and easy to use. If, for example, you've just got a simple switch, then it restricts the ability to do different sort of switch skills, as it were, or switch aspects. You've just got direct, so it means you have to hold your hand down onto the switch. When you lift off, it stops. With the Control, getting doused in bubbles here. You have the ability to move through different modes. You've got direct, which is what I've just showed you. You've got latch, which is effectively, oops, switch on off. You've also got timed modes, which is in seconds and minutes. So you can actually really plan some really cool activities. They can be timed or they can be latched or direct, as it were. But it really does open the door with what you could do with just a simple switch, a switch interface, and a switch adapted, a battery powered toy. What about if you haven't got a wireless switch? Sorry, I'm moving off camera. What about if you haven't got a wireless switch? Well, I've got a wired switch here, and we have another interface called send. So this is control, and this is send. And what that does, it has a small port at the top. I can plug in any wired switch. You know, it could be, I've got a grasp switch here somewhere. Any sort of assistive switch, could be a simple puff switch, as long as it has a 3.5mm jack at the end, which is an industry standard. I can plug it into the send, and now my wired a switch becomes effectively a wireless switch. So here we are. I'm using switch and send. So it gives you a bit more versatility with regards to utilizing what you've already got. If you haven't got a wireless switch or a wireless smoothie switch, you can then still use your wired switches for you know, any sort of activity. So I say battery powered toys. This also applies to battery powered appliances as well, which are becoming more and more sort of like popular these days. So you've got Christmas is a great time. You go into the stores, you know, be it sort of like the range. Again, apologies if this isn't applicable to yourself, but dollar stores, Poundland, so forth. There's lots of gadgets that are all battery powered, and all you simply need is a battery interrupter. Ideally, if it's got a physical toggle switch, so a physical on-off switch. Those are the two elements I would say. A replaceable battery, be it a battery cell, either a AA or AAA, and a physical on-off switch. And then you can pretty much switch adapt any battery powered toy or appliance. So I've got this that I've adapted. I've got a disco ball. I've got so many different things. So this is the time of year because you can go. It's the time where the stores have these sort of like small little battery powered gifts that you can get. So if you're interested in getting, you know, a lot of things that you wouldn't necessarily get at different times of the year, get these elements now, and just buy a shed load of battery interrupters. You can get them from ourselves, Pretorian, or other providers, and it's really simple just to switch it up to a battery powered toy appliance. And even the fairy lights now, that's what's really cool. The LED fairy lights are now tend to be there's more a selection of battery powered solutions, so you can, you know, get some fairy lights, put them in a glass vase. And if they're multicolored, you've got a really nice little sensory sort of toy or activity that you can do, and it costs, you know, a minimum amount. The most expensive element is probably going to be the switch interfaces, and if you have to get a wireless switch. So that's toy and appliance control with battery powered appliances. We also have mains appliances, which I'm going to try and move my camera a bit further around. My laptop out of the way. There we go. So we have iClick there, which is this device here, which is our mains controller, appliance controller. I don't get upset when people refer to it as a power link. I do not get upset. So it's a term now that's used for generic purposes. You know, it's an appliance controller. People often mention power link. That's fine. Excuse me, I'm just having a sip of water. Where this differs with PowerLink is that it has a number of different access methods. You can use a wireless switch, a wired switch. You can even use the iPad, or an iPad as essentially becomes a switch activating surface, as it were. So you can access the app from the App Store for iClick, download it free of charge, and you can create some really wonderful activities using an iPad as essentially as a switch, and that connects via Bluetooth. But I've got iClick connected to a couple of things. I've got it connected firstly to this lamp here. So if I press the blue switch here, what's going on? Off. I've also got it connected to a wired switch, but the wired switch is one of our is a very special switch that we launched last week, which is Toffee, which is our proximity switch. So I've got the second that's plugged in is an inflatable. I was hoping for getting a Christmas one in time, but unfortunately that's been delayed. So I've only got my Halloween one. So if I just bring the camera out, there's my Halloween inflatable, and there is the Toffee proximity switch just here. Now, the cool thing about these inflatables is price, really inexpensive. That was about £15 from Amazon. And what's really cool is that the fan is built into the actual inflatable. So great for cause and effect. So I've got this set up for latched at the moment. So if I activate it just by going across there, it'll fill up. Oops, yeah, bring my camera down a little bit. And if I want to switch it off. But in a direct mode, if I put it into direct mode, it works even better because you've got to keep a constant pressure on. As soon as you stop, it deflates. So I say these inflatables are really inexpensive to get. You can get them on eBay. You probably get them in store in some of these stores I've just mentioned with regards to like the Range and B&M and dollar stores and pound stores, as it were, Poundland, as it were. But I'd say Amazon is a really good source for this sort of thing. As I say, £15–16 for an inflatable, and there's so many activities you can do with them. So that is, mains appliances and activities you could do using either, a regular switch, a wired switch, in this case, Toffee. So another activity you can do with toys is I've got Smooth Talker there. So at this time of year, the big thing is, I don't know if it's applicable to everybody else's household, but in this household in particular, board games. Play loads of board games. So we have things like dice and so forth that we need. We utilize. So what I've done with Smooth Talk is I'm hoping it's not powered off. I've got Smooth Talk. Okay, it's not powered off. So I've got inside this oversized cube, I've got a kinetic, a gyroscopic switch. Now it's actually set to dice mode, which is the first setting you have on kinetic. So if I move the dice through different axes, it'll actually tell it, and I've recorded 6 numbers onto the Smooth Talker. And what it's going to do is, you may not hear it on the speaker, so I do apologize, but every time I move the cube,
Not hearing it, Bob.
you're not hearing that? Okay. It's probably because the speaker's really far, the Smooth Talker's behind me, as it were. But what it basically was doing through the Smooth Talker, it was saying what the dice face was. I.e., was it 3? It would say 3. This is really good as an activity I used to do with Harch, where if we're playing a board game, he'd be in control of the dice, and he'd throw the dice, and it would say whatever the face of it that came up on the dice, and then would move the appropriate moves on the board game. So it's a really fun activity to do with, including someone who maybe not be able to play the board game, but can say, "Well, I take control of the dice." So a Smooth Talker and a kinetic for Simply Works. Those 2 elements, you can have lots of fun with regards to having an oversized dice and playing sort of board games. So moving on very quickly. So time is pressing. You might not be able to see this very well, but if you are, okay. So this is, I've got our, this is from our gaming perspective. We've got the Flex controller here connected to the Nintendo Switch. So this is a really very simple configuration with regards to just using switches to control the gameplay on Mario Kart. Now, I've got Mario Kart set for auto steer and auto accelerate. So all that's needed is input from switches if need be. So if I just move my computer a little bit further back. Okay. So it's going to start playing the game, it's starting to play. And I've got one of our new switches, a Sagoo switch here, linked in there. And that's just set to whenever I get, I've got a banana skin, I press that and it throws a banana skin, but it'll steer on its own. I've got a joystick which gives me input if an individual can access a joystick, but if they can't, then auto accelerate, auto steer, plug some switches, and again, they're all industry standard 3.5 mil sockets, so any switch will fit into that, and you can actually play some really cool games on the Nintendo Switch using the Flex controller. Lastly, I'm hoping you guys will see this okay. I will move this stuff out of the way. Oops. I've got my iPad here, which I'll just move a little bit closer. So there's my iPad, and it's connected to the Blue Line joystick and our new iSwitch 50. And there is a kinetic for iPad in this Harry Potter cushion. So if I wanted to sort of like, I know it's linked to Spotify at the moment. If I just press the cushion, so I've just turned a cushion into effectively a wireless switch that's touch activated. So I've got a link to play pause, and it's playing Spotify, it's playing Harry Potter. Another one, I've got the Blue Line, which is just powered off. There we go. And that should connect really quickly. So I've got Blue Line joystick, which is linked to the iPad, and if you're familiar with, let's power down as well. That's the beauty of our products; they all power down if they're not being used for a certain amount of time. So if you're familiar with Aunt Maggie's recipes, there's a really cool thing you can do. So I'm actually using the Blue Line to maneuver. I can use the small buttons here, but I'm just maneuvering around and then selecting with the iSwitch. So I just want to illustrate the reason why I've separated them is that an individual could be, in a distance away from the iPad, or there could be someone who could be doing the control with regards to the joystick, and someone could be pressing the button for selecting with the iSwitch 50. So I want to just show you how you can actually use two devices, actually three devices, all connected at the same time via Bluetooth to access an activity and make it a bit more fun. So it could be that if it's two siblings playing together, one could be using the joystick, and the other one could be selecting, as it were. Or if you just want to play music, using the kinetic in the cushion. Right, that is pretty much. I think I managed to stick to time just about. So I'm going to switch my camera around, and if I can. There we go. There we go. That's me. Sorry. So face for not for video. It's a face for TV, for radio for certain. But yeah, please, if you've got any questions, if they're in the chat, please fire away.
Somebody did ask a question. Wait till I go back up. Yeah, what was it you added to the battery? They've said a jack, or are there different types? I think it was the battery switch adapter, but I think it was in the
Yeah,
bubble
that's
machine.
fine. So what there are two sizes that we do, which are AA, AAA, and there are C and D size. So you can get the really big sized battery for the size C and D appliances. There aren't many toys that take that size of battery, but I might be, I may be wrong on that front. It's mainly going to be the AA and AAA sized batteries, which there are plenty of those around. So yeah, just a simple AA straight AAA battery interrupter. You can get them off the our website, or you can get them, you can get them online, as it were. There are a number of different, companies that do them, as it were. But yeah, just simply pop it in, and you interrupt the battery source. Doesn't matter whereabouts you place it or which end of the battery compartment you place it, as long as it's called a battery interrupter. Essentially, it interrupts the power flow of the battery, and then as you activate the switch, that restores the flow, as it were. So yeah, really a very simple, very easy solution to switch enable a battery powered toy or appliance.
Brilliant. I think I managed to post most of the links into the chat as well. So
Well
I was
done.
trying to keep up with you. Claire's asking the iSwitch 50,
Yeah,
is it a replacement for the iSwitch, or is it something new?
no, it is new. So we've got, I don't know where my toffee switch has gone. So we've launched 3 switches. As you can imagine, my appearance is rather haggard. So we have toffee, which is the proximity switch. That's my index finger, not my middle finger, by the way. And then we have blue light, the iSwitch 50, which will not replace the iSwitch. It will complement iSwitch with regards to. It'll complement the Bluetooth access range. So you've got Applicator Max, you have iSwitch, and now you have iSwitch 50. So it mirrors all the functionality you have from for iSwitch, I call it iSwitch 75, but it's in a nice 50mm presentation, and it's a flat activation surface, which is low force as well. So it's a really nice activation that you get with iSwitch 50, but it's designed for places and environments where there's a restriction with regards to space or mounting. So all these 50mm switches now have universal mounts on them, so you can mount them on like the buddy mount system, or we're talking a readapt about making some specific mounts for Toffee, for iSwitch 50, and also for the Savvy Switch.
Nice. Oh, I think Claire's wish list might be growing after today. And she's also asking, how does the Kinetic, sorry, connect to the Smooth Talker?
So with Simply Works, you have receivers and transmitters. So the Simply Works is the Smooth Talk is one of a number of products which are both a receiver and transmitter. It has dual functionality, so it connects by radio. So if you're familiar with the Simply Works range and how devices pair with each other, that's how Smooth Talker and Kinetic for Simply Works. Well, you put the Smooth Talker into a pairing mode, and you get a flashing, slow blinking LED, and then you select pair on the Kinetic, and within a matter of seconds, it pairs up. You get a P on the LED display on the Kinetic, and that's it. And then you can adjust the settings to whatever you wish on Kinetic. So it could be dice mode, it could be tap, tilt, whatever you wish. So it's a really versatile product. But yeah, it's very simple to connect to Smooth Talker.
Brilliant, thank you. I love the dice activation. I just think what a brilliant way to collaborate.
Yeah.
Peers or siblings. As you say, board games at this time of year. That was
I'm sorry
fabulous.
to pick up the speaker. The Smooth Talk is actually behind the computer, so the microphone is in front. But it's a really cool activity where you've got, we've played sort of like a number of board games here in this house, and Harch always loved to be involved. So having this oversized dice meant that he was almost like the games master, or the dice master, we used to call him. So he used to be in charge of rolling the dice, and it's an oversized. I mean, this is really light. There's no weight, so it's all foam inside. And if I show you what I did, I should say I didn't do it, Dave did it. But you've got a cutout, and that's where the kinetic is. Kinetic's in this cutout here, oh, there,
Yep.
and close it up. But here's the thing: it can be nice. It could be animal shapes. It could be anything that can fit into these sort of wires. So this is something that we just mocked up and made. But you could put pictures of things in there and record on the Smooth Talker what they are. And then as you move through the access, the kinetic will always tell you the face, the face. The upward facing face will always correspond to what is being recorded on and played back on Smooth Talker.
Nice. We obviously have some of the switches on our loan bank as well. So if people wanted to try you could have a look from schools. We do loan our equipment to schools. Somebody's saying there that the oversized dice is
And do you
definitely
know
on
what?
their
I think.
wish list.
Sorry to speak over you, Kirsten.
No.
Is
Fine.
I think a prerequisite to be in assistive technology is you got to think out of the box. And this concept with the bot dice, you could go to, and this is the time where you get all these really cool things in these sort of stores because it's Christmas. You can maybe get a foamed oversized dice and then just hollow out the middle of it, or cut it as we've done here, cut it right down the center, make a little space for the kinetic to go into, and just patch it back together with Velcro. And then you've got a cube there that these little pocket wallets, you can get those from Amazon or eBay. You could make these little insert cards, and there's a whole raft of activities you can do with it. And it's a really straightforward, really simple sort of activity. But there's so many things you get the spin-offs from it, as it were.
Oh, somebody's just saying that they would need the kinetic for that to make the dice.
Yes, so they get the kinetic. You can get it from you can order it from Pretorian, as it were, or any of our distributors. And you need the kinetic, and you would need a Smooth Talker as well. So it works within the Simply Works range of products. But you could, in theory, then just have kinetic for iPad, and then you just need the kinetic for iPad. So the two versions: there's kinetic for Simply Works, kinetic for iPad. You could replicate something similar, though not quite the same, with regards to utilizing an iPad instead. So if you don't have any Simply Works products, I would say get some, obviously. But if you haven't, then you probably just easier to get a kinetic for iPad, and that connects via Bluetooth to the iPad. And then you could try a number of different activities and activations, and the output element is the iPad, as opposed to the Smooth Talker.
Brilliant. Thank you so much. And very well done for sticking to your time. I'm impressed.
Yes, I thought I'll get told off this time.
No, brownie points. Well done. Right. I think any more questions, or has Bob answered them all? I think you've blown everybody's mind with the possibilities, and everybody's going to be rushing out to the shops. As you say, this is just the ideal time of year. There's lots available.
Hit the stores, hit Amazon. It's Black
absolutely.
Friday, I think, now, with regards to Amazon. So there's some great deals. The inflatables, I kid you not, get the inflatables. If you have a PowerLink or mains controller, get the inflatables, because the number of activities you can do with those, teaching switch skills with regards to direct and then latched, and there are so many really cool. And the fact is that when it doesn't, if you're using direct, when it goes off, it deflates down. So it's all I've got my camera on, so it's all deflated now, and they take up very little space. They're weighted at the bottom, and they're quite sturdy because designed to go outside. But they come with everything: an inbuilt fan, a plug on the end of it, and it's really easy to set up. So I think they're fantastic. I really do.
Thank you so much, Bob. Okay, folks. Claire's off to Google.
I just saw that.
Google
inflator. Yeah, be careful when you put in the search thing on Google when you're psyching. But have a look, and just try different things out. It's really cool. All I'll say about is Toffee and iSwitch 50 are available now. Slight plug there, Kirsten, but they are available to order now. The proximity switch is awesome. It really is. And if you have a look on our website, there's some videos done by yours truly, which show all the different functionality. It's a really cool piece of kit. It really is.
Thanks very much, Bob. Thanks everyone for joining us. And yeah, you will get sent the recording, so you'll be able to go back through it. Somebody's saying they want to go back through it step by step, and they're very glad there was no PowerPoint. So yeah, it makes a pleasant
Yeah, this
change. It
it's a
was great.
PowerPoint free zone from now on
No, it
with
was
me. When we do any sessions, if you
perfect.
come any sessions with me, it's going to be straight into
Love it.
to the practical side of things. So yeah,
Yeah, no,
I'm
it was
ditching
great.
PowerPoints now.
Great, thank you. We'll be back next week, folks. Hopefully, my voice will be back as well. We're going to be joined by Annie Galvin. We're going to be looking at colourful semantics. So, thanks, everyone. Have a good evening.